Hi everyone, this is Thane. I'm a little sick this week, so if I'm not my usual charming self in this week's reflection, that's probably why. I'm gonna try and keep this short and sweet and get through it as quick as possible so I can go throw up or whatever I have to do after this. I was just reading Shantae's. I hope I'm saying your name right, Shantae. Shantae's blog about putting the A in STEM, making STEM into STEAM, and it's a very good blog. It's very well written, very succinct. You should all read it if you haven't read it already. But she made the point about she referenced the our reading briefly referencing Leonardo da Vinci, and she went on to talk about how he was an engineer and a mathematician and an inventor and an artist, and that he was a Renaissance man, and how valued he was for that. And I think that's an interesting thing to talk about in terms of how art fits in with what is it, science, technology, engineering, and math. Is that what STEAM stands for? I think that's what STEAM stands for. I think Leonardo da Vinci's an interesting example because he did do so many things, but his legacy, his historic legacy, what he's known for now, is primarily art, and that's what's considered his lasting impact on humanity. So it's interesting that he could do all kinds of things, and he is famous for all kinds of things. But what he's most famous for is art, and I think what he's most valued for in history is art. So it kind of you could be led to believe that in a way art transcends time in a way that science, technology, engineering, and mathematics don't, and therefore is more valuable. Maybe if, you want to make that argument. But I think. Excuse me, I'm gonna sneeze here. Sorry. Maybe I'll edit that out. Maybe not. Maybe I'll make you all suffer with my extreme illness. Where was I? Art. So the other thing I was thinking about, doing the reading and looking at the reflections and looking at Shantae's blog, there was the famous quote from Mr. Holland's Opus, where they're gonna cut the art department, cut music and art, and the principal William H. Macy is like. I value art, blah, 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 but if I have to choose between art, if I have to choose between art and reading and writing, I'm gonna teach kids reading and writing. And Richard Dreyfuss, in his Infinite Wisdom, says, if you take away art, they won't have anything to read or write about. Which is a good quote. I like that quote. I like that part of the movie. But I think it also kind of speaks to I don't know if you'd call it a double standard in society priorities, where art is put on this pedestal and creativity is put on this pedestal as this wonderful thing that's celebrated and studied, but for the most part, it's not practiced, and people don't really see a value in practicing it, and in teaching it the way they do studying it, which I think is really interesting. I think, yeah, it's just an interesting dichotomy where like art is promoted on one hand and discouraged on the other. It's almost, well, I'm gonna get off on a tangent here if I start talking about this, but kind of like one of my pet peeves is like the intellectualization of art, and that sometimes I feel like intellectuals and try to commodify art into a property that can only be consumed by educated elite people, and that's what they want art to be. Sorry, I'm just talking crap right now. But going back to Leonardo da Vinci, I studied him a little bit as an undergrad, and I do know that he traveled around a lot, and he basically relied on I'm not gonna think of the right word, but patron. Is patron the right word? Maybe they called them patrons, but he would like live with people who had like crazy ass money, would just like put him up and be like, make art and give some to me. And that's kind of how he made a living a lot of his life. And I think one of the reasons art isn't valued as a practical thing is it's not something that translates into money easily, and not like engineering makes money if you do it good. And so people want to teach engineering because they want to make money. Whereas if you make art, it doesn't really make money unless you have the rich patron who's going to put you up because you're Leonardo da Vinci and they just want you to make your art and give them some. So I think that's one of the reasons people are hesitant to turn STEM into STEAM and to throw that A in there, because art isn't practical. But going back to my original point with Leonardo da Vinci, I think great art transcends time and is beyond value, so we should teach it. And there seems to be all this evidence that indicates being well-rounded and being creative will help you in everything you do. So why not teach art? The same way, math is supposed to help you in everything you do, whether you become a mathematician or not. And it'd be nice if people thought that way and if art was valued that way. I don't really see that happening anytime soon, but maybe that'll change. Yeah, that's all I have to say today. I am gonna go be sick. Bye, everyone.